faster than the speed of sound. At an early age you wanted to get out, to pursue adventures all around. Things got tough sometimes, but it's all good, 'cause Tails is his best friend. He's always there for him, he's his sidekick. Through bad and good times over and over again. What to see is what to get. Just a guy to live adventures in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the IDW Sonic Rundown. And folks, we got a very special treat in store for you guys today, because we are going to be presenting to you in its totality the Phantom Rider arc of IDW Sonic. This is the most recent completed major arc that IDW has put forward, and man, is it really something. It's a good something. It's a very good something, might I add.
Yes, I agree entirely. Phantom Rider is simultaneously another great reflection of who Sonic is as a character, which is, again, as we've said many times before, been one of the running themes of this comic, alongside other things, and showing that, yes, Sonic does not always have to be the good guy in order for him to be a hero. Very reminiscent of a little game called Sonic and the Black Knight. I really enjoyed this arc. I enjoyed my time with it. I enjoyed all of the characters involved, and I particularly like Clutch a lot. I actually like Clutch a lot.
Yeah, no, he really shines in this arc. And speaking of Clutch, my friend who was going through the comics recently told me that his design, Clutch's design, looks very reminiscent of fucking Vizzy Pop's character designs. And after him saying that, I can't unsee it, and I'm grossed out. I'm disgusted. I'm
gonna pretend I didn't hear that, because I don't want to sully this character.
Fair move. I recommend everyone do the same. So I think without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the first issue of the Phantom Rider arc, IDW Sonic, issue 69. Very nice, folks. Very nice. Written by Evan Stanley and art done by Minho Kim. So we open very high in the sky. We hear Knight announcing the beginning of the Clean Sweepstakes, an extreme gear extravaganza, the likes of which never before seen. Both Clean Sweep Inc. and the Restoration are behind this charity event, and we got loads of contestants, ranging from Sonic, Tails, Amy, the Babylon Rogues, Surgeon Kit, and for the record, everybody's got, like, their rider's fits on, and in the case of Surgeon Kit, I mean, Surge especially, she's got that shit on. She's got a big puffy overcoat. She's got that shit on.
Yeah, it's really, really, really good. Tangle, Whisper, Lanolin, Mimic does not have anything on his duo, but Kit's also got, everyone looks great. They did a really good job.
Everyone has like unique designs for their boards as well. The Diamond Cutters in particular, they all have like more unique variations. So like Tangle's got air shoes, and Whisper, I believe, is like a yacht type extreme gear is what it's called. Or something. It was from Zero Gravity, I know that much.
A yacht type is great.
The first round is the qualifier, with Omo Chow as the flag bearer, counts it off on mark, and racers fly out. Now for the qualifier, all everyone has to do is just make it to the end of the track before the timer runs out, so get out and have a good, clean race. Sonic and Amy are showing off, and Tails is geeking out on the rare gear types he's seeing around him, like there's a yacht type, an Acceleravis board, and calls attention to test out his new gear. Let's get it going. And as the race goes, Knight gives off the hashtag ad for the Clean Sweep Inc. and how proceeds made from the race will go back into the restoration for the recycling effort. And as it goes, the screen cuts to the race's mascots, kind of caricatures of a Crab Meat Badnik and an Egg character clearly mocking Eggman. And for the record, this is apparently a deep cut Archie Sonic reference, because back in the very, very early comics, Robotnik would kind of have a Crab Meat Boutnik to like bounce off of.
Yes, Crab Meat was his like little back and forth person. It's pretty funny that they brought this back.
Yeah.
Ian was like, bro, you gotta throw it in there. And Evan was like, I guess. And it's like, can we make it work? And it's like, yeah, I guess. Sega was like, I guess. I don't even know what this is. And everyone's just like, okay, just don't talk about it. Just ignore it.
The crowd enjoys the bit, as in the blimp, Clutch is with Jewel sharing a drink of his rare Chaos Colas, which she doesn't care for, but Jewel wonders if she should be out there representing the Restoration. But Clutch offers some advice. Scale back on the public appearances. The people need to see the Restoration as an institution, and as individuals are ultimately weak. Sure, that doesn't mean anything. Don't look into that. Jewel wants the Restoration to connect with the people, however, and Clutch insists that still will be the case, but changes are necessary to scale up the operation. And she does admit, Clean Sweep's prep work has been impressive, and this is just the start. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. We're going to be taking the Restoration global, and this is how we do it. Trust me. And then Jewel gets a ping. She needs to get back to the paperwork, and unfortunately missed the race, but she's got to do it. Like you said, it's where she shines. And on the track, Team Sonic is at a good pace as they get cut off by Jet and the Rogues, bragging as how they've been playing in the dirt, they've been at work. Won't share the details, but hope you'll enjoy the headlines on the papers. You've never faced a battle on Rogues like this. You really think you can beat us? And by the way, there is a running joke throughout this whole arc of basically Jet the Hawk gets rage baited, and it's very funny.
Yeah, it's genuinely so good. Look, I think Jet being so prideful and people rage baiting him nonstop is like a recipe for perfect bits. It's really good.
It's great. Wave warns Jet again from his boasting, as Tails' gear in particular is pretty creative, and Amy defends him, saying she'll take Tails' gear over hers any day of the week. Storm behind her is cracking his knuckles, saying she won't be so uppity when we're done with ya. And she just turns around, stares him dead in his face, and says, "Oh yeah, really?" And Storm is like, I didn't say that. Which, by the way, that's the vibe we need Amy at, Sega. Look at
come
this.
on, man.
Jet tells Sonic his friends are talking a big game. You gonna back it up? Well, you gonna say something? And he doesn't say anything, only hitting the brake on the gear, spooking Jet enough to hit the Anel face, basically.
Yeah, he got rage baited again.
And hits the hard boost forward, Jet screaming to get back here as Sonic mocks him all the way. Tails and Amy catch up, with Sonic praising Tails' gear for the acceleration, but he does warn him not to cut the engine like that next time. It could explode. Glad to see. Jet eventually catches up, angered by the show, and whacks Sonic's ankle with his gear, which right then a flash of smoke next to them, with Lanolin with the rest of the Diamond Cutters basically getting flag on the play for Jet for hitting Sonic with his gear. Against the rules, as a Tangled waves hi to the homies. It's adorable. Love her. Jet complains that this is favoritism, but rules are rules either way, she says. So Jet's like, alright man, I'll beat you all fair and square. Then, quick panel, Surge hitting a remote, making Amy's gear kick into uncontrollable overdrive, Sonic and Tails turning back to help her, until the same thing happens to their gear and they're all thrown off. So, flashback. Yesterday evening, Mimic comes to Clutch in disguise as a construction worker, giving him the registration logs for the event. The battle on Rogues. He's dealt with them before. They're morons scrambling for treasure, but also Sonic, Tails, and Amy. Clutch has been able to keep off their radar after meeting Miss Rose a while ago, and if they found out about their work here, things might get messy. So Clutch asks Mimic, go down to the shop where the gear is being held for pre-race inspections. Tell my boys what's what. They know what I like. And tell them to hit all three at once. We gotta be thorough here. And the next morning, Mimic, again disguised as Duo, wakes up Surge and Kit in their room in the HQ, telling them Clutch has a job for them. Take this remote, knock out Sonic and his friends in the race. And Surge is a little miffed to do all the sneaking around. She prefers the direct approach. If she wants Sonic taken out, she'll do it, but on her terms. And that's where Clutch himself shows up, slamming his cane to the ground, the cracking sound scaring Surge and Kit upright, and reminds them that her style left them nearly dead in a hole before he found their gainful employment at his side. You'll have your fun, Sonic is going to suffer, but we're going to be smart about this. And angry, Surge takes the remote from Mimic, as we all saw, played along. This is also another interesting thing about Surge's character, is that she does talk a lot of shit, and she can clearly back it up, but at the end of the day, she's just a scared kid at the end of the day. Let's be honest.
I mean, It's very clear that the whole theme of these characters is that they want to break free from like whatever fucked up fate that they've been born into. So like they don't really know how to do that. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and we're gonna be seeing more of that in the future. Trust me on that. So in the present, Tails is flying with Sonic, rushing to get Amy as she's hanging onto her board for dear life, and just barely there to check out the boards as Whisper fires her Wisp on and disables all three of them at once. They're exhausted, and Tangled does try to get a check on them, but Lanolin tells them all to get off the track. They're as much as a hazard as their gear is. Basically, they're all disqualified now. And so, Surge and Kit passed the three of them, plan worked, and for now, they gotta finish the race. Later, Duo goes to Jewel to say that Sonic, Tails, and Amy were disqualified because of their experimental gear. And she's shocked to hear that, and he also says that they left after the incident. We got no idea where they went. Still, she asks that he go look for them. I want to make sure they're okay. Which he insists he will be taking care of everything. Yeah.
No, bad.
Oh.
Bad. Not good.
Later that night in Central City, Sonic, Tails, and Amy are having dinner at a Denny's. It's just a Denny's.
Yeah, they just go to a fucking Denny's, dude.
Hitting up the Grand Slam. Tails is beating himself over his gear, going, why did it go as wrong as it did? But Amy thinks that this whole situation isn't right. Her board wasn't even one of his and was still affected. On top of that, the Clean Sweep staff were not allowing them to talk to anyone after the qualifier. And Sonic agrees. There is something off here. Tails notes the only time they did not have their gear is when it was being examined on the shuttle. Amy thinking that they could just go in and give them what for. Unfortunately, shuttle leaves tomorrow as it's touring the world. Once it's airborne, it's not coming down, and it's going to be impossible to get in. So, let's just take the tornado and bust in. But if we do that, trash the shuttle, ruin the sweepstakes, kind of defeats the purpose of the investigation. And then someone approaches their booth, and they're shocked, saying that he wished he could show compassion like that for my plans every once in a while. Of course, Eggman, Incognito, and this is another case of he kind of has this shit on.
Nah, listen, man, I saw this fit, and I was like, damn, bro, he's Incognito, but everyone and their mother knows what this guy looks like. He's clean as fuck, though. This shit is hard.
Yeah, and apparently, this outfit comes from, like, a Sonic Shuffle minigame, apparently.
Really?
Apparently, yeah.
That's crazy.
So, puts his bag down and sits at their table, not here to fight, and also tells the waitress to bring him a super slam with extra ham and a coffee, make it snappy.
Okay, man.
Sonic, foot up on the table, asking if he stopped by because he was feeling peckish. And he is. I'm not used to tracking you down. It's hard work. But, I have a proposition. After you and your friends trashed my Imperial City, I took a bit of a sabbatical, refreshed the creative drive, and by chance, I ended up watching the opening ceremony of the sweepstakes, and I did not like what I saw. That mascot and profiting off my designs to boot. So, he thought it would be entertaining to watch Sonic and the Rogue squabble, but he was kicked out of the race by, in even Eggman standards, very obvious trickery. Humiliating you is my job, but inspiration struck. I built. My genius could finally be... Oh, there's my food. So, as he's scarfing shit down, Tails was like, all right, man, what did you make? And he's just like, oh, look at her bag. It's her bag. And
him bag.
and finds a new gear made from a Motobug shell. Eggman says it's a perfect harmony of speed, handling, and power. Even has adaptive hard flight camouflage, too. I call it the Egg Stream gear. Brilliant. Another brilliant one.
Congratulations, Dr. Eggman. Here's your Nobel Peace Prize.
Since Sonic was the reason for his inspiration striking, I figured I'll come pay it back. So Tails and Amy think Sonic can use this as a distraction. They can get into the shuttle and figure out who sabotaged their gears. And Eggman concurs. So, what's your angle in this, Eggman? What do you want? But Eggman, like, hand to God, is like, nah, no angle. Whoever found out you sabotaged your gears, yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want. All I ask is that you find out who's behind Clean Sweepstakes Inc. You interested? And Sonic, you got yourself a deal, Doc. All right, folks.
Okay.
Folks, we got the Eggman Sonic team up. You know it's going to be Kino now.
Yeah, I remember, so when I was reading this, I was definitely, my eyebrow raised, I was like, oh, what an interesting angle that we're taking here. Yeah, I think this is a really strong start. It immediately draws you in, makes you start asking questions, and really gets your brain thinking about what could even be happening. How is this going to progress? Sonic is not the hero. He is technically against everyone now. He's rogue.
That's
right,
cool.
Folks.
So a bit of a twist on the usual stories, and we're gonna be seeing how everything unfolds. We'll start off our next issue 70. Evan Stanley writing and Aaron Hammerstrom doing the art, and I gotta say, he is really getting better and better each issue with the art he does. I'm looking at Sonic at the first page. I swear to God, it's like Uekawa drew it.
I don't even know if I would say Uekawa, but man, the artwork in these 7 comics is clean as fuck across the board. IDW's quality standard is absurdly high, and it continues to get better year over year over year. We keep seeing how good the art is, and I don't think that there's anything I could ever complain about in regards to it.
It's fantastic, folks. So, above Central City, the first official round of the Clean Sweepstakes. The crowd cheers as Sonic looks about a nearby rooftop. The Extreme gear and hard light armor at the ready. As Knight says, this round's goal is to simply survive. I'm sorry. That got me a little bit.
Yeah, as we view the racetrack, which is covered in death traps all around.
Repurposed from Clean Sweep Supply, they say. And everyone takes their place at the starting line, and the countdown goes as we see Sonic hitting a henshin pose, letting the hard light overtake his body. Racers are off. And before you ask, yes, this is a Kamen Rider bit.
It's fucking hype, dude! Sonic hitting the henshin is something I never thought I'd see, but hey, there's a first time for everything. This shit's hard.
And of course, speaking of the Kamen Rider comparisons, it also goes to show that, with every single iteration of Kamen Rider itself, a big part of the themes of Kamen Rider is the hero using the enemy's weapons against them. So Sonic using Eggman tech for the plot follows along with that.
Yes, it does, which is cool. I guess they wanted some element of Kamen Rider in here, which, hey, I'm not going to complain. I haven't watched any Kamen Rider. That's changing in a couple months, though. I'll give you guys an update on that eventually. But, yeah, I definitely really like this decision. Just, again, I love the idea of Sonic not being the good guy. I like that he's being isolated in a cool way. So let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, and personally, I've only ever watched EX8, but it was kind of goated, so it's all good.
Yeah, I hear EX8 is really fun.
All right, so of course, the Babylon Rogues are far and ahead all the other racers until, to Jet's shock, a black and blue blur rides overhead, overhearing his want for a real challenge. Sonic grabs Omochao and his camera and introduces himself to the crowd as the Phantom Rider, here to turn this whole place upside down, and none of you are fast enough to stop me. Cinema. It's cinema.
Okay, I this is a small bit of character, but Sonic using the mask and the persona to just be ultra dickhead? Ooh, once upon a time there was a character who was a lot meaner than this, but he's giving me some shades of him, Just a little, a pinch, one might even say, but we're not going to talk about that. That's the past.
Yeah, we're
in the present.
We're in the good times now.
We're in the good times. We're in the good times. Anyways, yes, I love that Sonic is a dick here. It's fun.
Clutch seems interested in this development as Sonic uses his ride to boost forward, the air displacement throwing others off track, and he has to fight his urge not to backtrack and help lest he blow his cover. Thankfully, the restoration refs are able to, help in, with Tangle catching one with her tail, and Lanolin asking Duo to call in reinforcements. She's locked in. The Phantom Rider is going down. And man, let me tell you something. If you're a little iffy on Lanolin, you're gonna like how her little arc ends here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank God!
We'll get to it when we get to it. Meanwhile, on the shuttle, the security forces scramble out, leading Tails and Amy to sneak in on the open door. It's a crash landing behind some crates, though, but the guards think it was just the door closing. The place is locked up better than Prison Island. Nothing is getting in. Yeah, but Prison Island exploded! Very interesting choice of words there. We'll get to that. Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
Dude, they did a 9/11 on Prison Island. Damn, dude, that's crazy. What if it happened again?
9/11 2.
9/11 2!
As they leave, Tails thinks the first place to look would be in the machine shop. If there's evidence of the gear being tampered with, it should be there. And Amy grabs Tails' arms, knowing she knows the exact place to look. Spent a lot of time here during the metal virus. Shop is not too far from here. And back on track, Sonic is, as I said, rage baiting Jet the whole way through, and after leaving a smoke screen behind, pops out a hatch from the tube and starts to make his escape until he's caught by Lanolin and the security forces being pushed back by her Wispon. And so Sonic's down, he's standing on the glass, and the security meets him there, but the weight of everyone breaks the tubing pretty severely, causing major interruptions in the race. Tangled catches a lot of people. Sonic is able to catch one to put them back on their board, begging them not to mention this. He makes it out and now plans to lie low, until Surge ends up crashing into him, very excitedly complimenting his moves. You seem like a guy who can appreciate a good thrashing. Does an electric punch on his helmet, which short circuits a part of the hard light, which Surge doesn't seem to see, covering his head and kicks himself off her bike. And so he's able to call the gear back to him on his remote transformer and makes his escape. Surge is pissed she didn't get her fight, but Kit just begs her to hold on. He reminds her if they go off, we won't finish the race, and Clutch hired us to stay as competitors. She does agree, but next time, I don't plan on letting this guy go. And at the finish line, Jet, Wave, and Storm made the top 3 respectively, but Jet mauls over getting rage baited by a rando, of course.
Man, this motherfucker, bro. It's crazy. Now, in one of my absolute favorite moments in this comic, and the start of what I think is one of the most interesting developments they could have picked for these two characters. Surge and Kit now slide in towards the finish line. As they lift up their glasses, and Kit asks, who are they clapping for? Before the announcer says, there they are, folks, the heroes who finally scared off the Phantom Rider. Their speed, their guts, truly a decisive takedown. Looks like the Phantom has given up the ghost. It's for us? Kit says. As Surge, with the most joy I've ever seen in this character's eyes, says in the most happy way possible, we're heroes. Cinema. Okay. Why do I love this so much? Because it could be so easy to just make these two stuck in an infinite cycle of suffering, pain. But we've shown that they have the capacity to actively want to help people. And that started to, burgeon up in this small instance. It's a seed, but you can tell that they want to move forward with this idea that the two of them are more than the sum of where they came from.
Yes, however, I do also want to point out, and we're going to see more of that later on, but it's more of a desire for Surge than Kit does.
Well, no, for sure, but I think it's the same thing of, acceptance, right?
No, right.
Specific-
On the wide scale, you are correct. What I'm talking about more is that, while Surge has a genuine desire to be a hero and be beloved, Kit, ultimately his purpose, his hardwired purpose, is to help Surge.
Yes.
He can't really break off of that.
Yeah, and that's more of a larger scale problem, but again, that's for later down the line. But yes, this scene specifically is such a good way of planting the seed for the two of them.
Yes. And of course, how dare I not mention that as the crowd cheers for Surge and Kit, Jet is malded out once again as the crowd is not cheering for him.
Look, man, this whole issue is just endless. This whole series is just endless Jet rage bait. Could I have asked for anything better? No.
Later, Duo meets with Jewel in her office. As he asked around, I even called Amy's number. It just went to voicemail. Hey, maybe they're off to saving the world again. You know how they are, right? Yeah. So he shows himself out. I tried, right? Yeah. And Jewel waves him off goodnight, but as she's gone, takes a sip of her tea and clearly shows her suspicions. Unfortunately, this is kind of the only instance thus far of anyone really being suspicious of Duo.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this was a drop plot point or something. I don't know.
We don't know. We'll see.
So then Mimic goes to Clutch, saying she bought it, no prob, and tells him to let the Lex Supply drop go missing. I'll keep her occupied for a while. Well, what about this Phantom Rider, though? Don't you think he's a liability? And actually, no. Clutch doesn't think so. This is great for viewership. I wish I thought of this myself. I wouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, but we can't get sloppy now. Next event, Let's unmask our friend, but let's do it quietly. I want to know what we're dealing with here. In the machine shop, Tails and Amy look around for anything suspicious, and Tails finds exactly what he's looking for. The dumpster, to Amy's chagrin. From Tails' experience, you'll always find what you're looking for in the garbage. I don't know, Tails just immediately jumping in head first is a very funny sight. It's like, bro, you're a fox, not a raccoon. Get it together.
Come on, brother. Come on. I don't know about this one, man.
Amy's a little grossed out. Don't blame me if you get gum in your hair or whatever. But Amy hears something clattering behind her, a board falling over, and hammer at the ready. She's inching closer and closer as a disembodied hand crawls towards her. She freaks the fuck out and hits it, which causes it to launch up and head crab her. So she yells for Tails to come so she can smash it, but he pries it off and tells her to take a good look at it. Oh, right, that's Belle's hand. So why did it jump on my friggin' face? So and she has like the big head fucking screaming like her attack from Riders. It's Kino.
Yeah, it's pretty great, I can't lie.
And the hand literally points them in a direction. We're gonna find out. They're led to a locker, banging from the inside, having Tails to lockpick it with the screwdriver. And opening, they find Belle left gagged and bound on a hook. And now the plot thinkens even further.
So, by the way, I did not point this out. Clutch, proving that yes, he is an Italian mob boss, was in fact eating spaghetti and meatballs.
Mamma
you know,
mia.
yeah, anyways. Another great issue. Again, Phantom Rider stuff is great. We're setting up some really cool plot points. Clutch is definitely a more, like, he's thinking things through. He's not as erratic as Eggman. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll move on. Issue 71 from Stanley and Kim. So Belle is freed. She's unbound, hand reattached. She said it was just a little thing she was tinkering with. Didn't know she would need it so soon, though. So Amy asked who did this to her, but Belle instead asks about their extreme gear. She was personally looking at theirs until Clean Sweep came in and took their gear from her. They practically had taken over, and whatever she saw, seems like they didn't want me to know about that. And the guy with the greasy coat was very creepy. So Tails gets his confirmation, and Amy realizes Belle saw who they were looking for. Has a big hat and a big coat, fancy cane. Yep, Amy knows exactly who's behind Clean Sweep Inc. now. Meanwhile, the next leg of the competition takes us to Misty Spire, the contestants playing a game of extreme dodgeball on their gears. Surge enjoying the crowd's calling her name. She's high up in the rankings, and again, Jet is enraged over his spotlight being stolen. That's my boy. That's my goat right there. Under the bleachers, Sonic is ready to cause some more havoc as the Phantom Rider. As to his and everyone else's surprise, a second Phantom Rider appears, challenging the Diamond Cutters directly, saying 1 down, 3 to go. Everyone in the game turns their attention to him, with him overpowering the competition. The Diamond Cutters surround him and feigns a surrender until he takes a dodgeball and nails Lanolin off her gear, and that makes 2. Surge leads the group to chase after the Phantom Rider as Sonic is below, hiding under the cloud layers. Sonic finds Tangle and Whisper, and Whisper is kind of freaking out over being hunted as Tangle is trying to keep her together as they're met by Surge in the foggy haze, baiting her by reminding her how she was thrashed back in Central City. Imagine what the papers will say when I smear your lever thread across the rocks. So Whisper's enraged, she steps on the gas, and Tangle has to chase after her and have lost her. Until they come across Surge for real and sneak attacks her with her hammer. Surge just tanks it despite thinking they were just playing nice for now. She'll accept the fight with her and Kit going in. Tangle tries to break it up, but Kit grabs her with her water tentacles, telling her don't interrupt. Surge is working. Which, man, I'm not gonna lie, this kid can be fucking cold when he wants to be.
Yeah, like actually terrifying.
She's thrown into Whisper's bite, and now both crash into Jet. Having had enough, he breaks out his fans and wants to get involved. Storm excited to fight, and Wave being dragged into the mess. Sonic, still in his Phantom Rider fit, thinks he should just get out of here before things get worse, but has little room to escape until Mimic comes in from behind, grabs him by the head, and tries to wrestle him off. Sonic grabs his hands to release him, but Mimic grabs the transforming glove, pressing all the buttons at once by accident, which disables Sonic's helmet and throws off all the traps that was built into the gear. By the way, most of them being like items from Sonic Free Riders, by the way.
Insane. Insane that they chose this of all things. Jesus fucking Christ.
The last one, though, fires a rocket from the back, hitting a rock formation near Surge. Mimic got the information he wanted and backs away into the fog, Sonic trying to get to him, but the group ends up discovering Sonic's identity and believe he was responsible for this last incident. Tangled doesn't want to believe it, but the rocket makes the rock fall between the two of them, Whisper pulling her away as she screams for Sonic, asking why. And the rock falls, leaving Sonic alone, silent, in the rain. Honestly, pretty interesting
good
shot, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. This whole sequence that's about to play out is so funny because it reads like somebody's ex just showed up out of nowhere, bro.
Oh my
this is
God.
what Jet the Hawk is. It's so funny.
We then see the next scene. It's the Babylon Rogues in their airship, Storm making chili and rice for dinner as Jet mauls over Sonic being the Phantom Rider. It's an insult to Sonic. It's an insult to me. Man, he really does sound like a little whiny ex, doesn't he?
He is a whiny ex, bro. Am I wrong? No.
And then Storm thinks that maybe somebody paid Sonic off, but Jet's like, no, there's no way, man. This is Sonic the frickin' Hedgehog we're talking about. The guy doesn't even know what money is. It's true, he doesn't know what money is.
It's true, he don't got internet.
Wave says since Sonic is usually the one doing the hero shtick, he's always fighting the bad guys, right? This leads Jet to believe that Clean Sweep Inc. has to be up to something. Wave saying this entire event is just to take advantage of the Restoration's good name. What a scam. And Jet shouts, and Sonic figured it out before we did? How dare he? I won't stand for this. Rogues, we have a new mission.
My God, bro.
Holy shit.
Jesus, man. I mean, what do you even want me to say? This guy is so desperate, bro. He's like, please, bro, please, I need this shit, man.
Meanwhile, in the nearby village, Surge and Kit are walking. Surge is kind of in her feelings about the whole situation. This was supposed to be just a simple gig, play nice until the possum gives the words, and, rough up the Restoration. It was supposed to be easy. But then the race happened, and now everything's gotten... I don't know what it's gotten. And then, a little kid calls out for Surge. Her all starry-eyed, thinking that she was so cool fighting the scary guy from before. And then again, and I like your bike, and your big hair, and your electricity. And the kid's mom, or maybe grandma, because this is the conductor's wife from the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Same character design. She takes the kid back and waves goodbye, and says when she grows up, she wants to be all spiky and punch bad guys too. And Surge very, timidly just waves goodbye. And you can see in her eyes that she's getting some guilt in her. I don't think we can keep doing this. We don't deserve it.
Kit then says, I don't understand what's going on either, but when the crowd cheers for you, you light up. The whole world lights up. I would do anything to see that again. Dude, we are seeing Surge change in real time. Her priorities are finally starting to shift. She's finally starting to stop thinking in this binary way, and she's starting to realize, wait, maybe helping people is what I should be doing. It's cool! It's really cool!
It is funny how basically she took Sonic's lesson just the long way, I should say. But if you ever tell her that, she'll get fucking enraged, so shushy. Back in the blimp, Duo is with Lanolin as she's punching a sandbag. Duo saying he's sorry for not fighting back. I didn't even see him coming. Got the bump on my head, But Duo also says that Tangle and Whisper said the Phantom Rider ran away, but I don't know. You think that they could be hiding something to spare our feelings? Hard to say what they do on their own. I guess we're all lucky to be having you to guide us, Lanolin. And she's not saying anything, only punching the sandbag faster as he talks. As Tangle overhears the whole thing and runs back to Whisper, surrounding herself with her wisps, Tangle telling her that she didn't end up telling the others what happened. I don't want to give up on Sonic. I know what we saw, but I don't believe it. And Lanolin really hates the Phantom Rider. If we tell her what happened, who's to say what she'll do? And she's determined to figure it out. But Whisper just says, stop. Just look at this. As she hands her mask. After they fought Mimic, I turned off the video recording. But after the fight we had with Silver, I turned it back on. I can't trust myself anymore. But I trust the mask. And I trust you. Very cute. Make them date.
These
Sega.
bitches gay! These bitches gay, bro!
Good for them. These bitches are gay.
These bitches are gay!
Sega, make them gay. What are you fucking doing here?
Oh, dude, they're cowards.
Tangle puts it on and sees the first and second time the Phantom Rider showed off. he was on 2 different boards. They encountered Sonic riding the first board, and the one on the second board directly attacked people in the contest, unlike the first time. But that's all she was able to get out of this. But Tangled thinks this is proof there's more than what's going on here, and brings her in for a hug. We're gonna figure this out together. The Rogues agree on their new goal for the contest, to figure out who's behind the scam and get it even. Surge tells Kit from here on out, we're gonna do the hero thing right, and we're gonna earn it. And Whisper, embracing the hug, assures her faith in Tangle.
Meanwhile, Clutch, as he, in shock, says Sonic the Hedgehog. As Mimic responds, without a doubt, of all the half-cocked idiots in the world, I had to hook the biggest fool yet. His grip on the cane tightening intensely as he says, I'll pull out his quills one by one and make him eat them. And when I find out who let this slip, as Mimic starts backing away, he can feel the pure, unfiltered Italian racism.
Which, I mean, that's rich coming from Mimic. You've murdered people, man. This should be on your level.
Yeah. Sorry, my temper gets the best of me at times. This is my fault. Not yours, as he places his hand on his shoulder. I let myself have too much fun. It's time I got back to work. The next time the Phantom shows himself at my sweepstakes will be his last. Crazy final panel, by the way. This Clutch motherfucker is serious. He's gonna put a bullet in somebody's skull.
Yeah, no, he's not playing around. This is, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Very, 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 very scary.
Now, issue 72 from Stanley and Hammerstrom. Surge and Kit storm into Clutch's office. He says he very much enjoys the first cola of the day. Hope you have a good reason for interrupting it. And she does. We quit. To which Clutch does a spit take, deep laugh, and insists they're serious. But he says, look, you don't understand the situation you're in. So what, you have a taste of the limelight, now you think our arrangement is a burden, is that it? But the fame you're enjoying, it's not yours. I made you heroes because that's what I needed, and I can make you monsters just as easily. And Surge is doing her best to maintain composure, as Clutch says, come on, cheer up. You get the glory, you get the fame, and hey, you even get to be a little violent. All you gotta do is just maintain your appearance. You should be thanking me. So I'll make this simple for you. Quiet down, do your job, and know your place. Speaking of your job, I got a hedgehog problem I want you to take care of. Next time you face the Phantom Rider, destroy him.
Surge is not happy about this as she walks out onto the deck of the ship and begins to violently control the lightning. It's pretty raw, I can't lie.
Yeah, she is just really agitating the storm with her lightning as she's screaming into the sky, no one tells me what to do! Nearby, the hovercar caravan following the blimp is braving the storm, with Sonic hiding under a bus to cover from the rain. His transformer is still busted, so he can't put on the helmet, and thinks Tails probably could fix it, but there are too many close calls back there. Hope Tails and Amy are faring better than I am. And he gets spooked by Surge's lightning and starts having to move, covering his head with a hood, leading the drivers to start to freak out from the Phantom Rider's appearance. Then a stray lightning bolt hits a car, disabling it and falls from the sky. Sonic rides in to try something until Storm rides above and catches the car, telling Jet and Wave he's got this. You two take care of the rest. And Jet boasts, folks, this is another great plan from yours truly. This is going to get us back on top. As Wave says this is her plan, but Jet, as the leader, gets credit. Enough yapping, let's go.
Okay, man. The two start loop-de-looping, basically forming a clear run-through for people to get through the storm as they keep going round and round and round and round.
As the cars follow the funnel, Jet shouts at them to remember the Babylon Rogues got you out of this mess, and we take tips of all sorts. Yep. And interrupts himself when he sees out of the corner of his eye the Phantom Rider and dives right for him. And Jet catches up, shouting for Sonic to reveal himself, tearing off a piece of the hood in the process. And Sonic tries anything from the Transformer to distract Jet, but with nothing releasing, he gets desperate and casts off the cloak, throwing it right on Jet's face. as Jet calls him a cheater, as Sonic quips he tell it to the refs.
Alright, man. Alright, okay.
So Sonic loses Jet and rests next to an RV, thinking he could duck under the cloud layer and catch up to the caravan later, as the RV door opens and yanks Sonic and his gear inside. And thrown on the couch, he's met by the driver. But Sonic recognizes his voice. This is the event announcer. And he says, "Yep, you are among friends. I'm Night the Owl. Welcome to our humble little home on the wing, the bad investment," as my esteemed colleague Don named her.
The bad investment.
Night brings Sonic to Don, him driving the RV, and surprised to see it actually was Sonic disguised as the Phantom Rider. You put on quite the show at the Misty Spire. And that wasn't me. And Don knows that's true. Told Knight that the guy back there couldn't be the real Phantom Rider. You were way funnier than the phony. Get down! As they see in front of them, Jet arrived in front of the RV. He just gives him a glance as he turns around, flies off. So, Knight quickly offers some cocoa, served after Sonic tells him the story of how he got here, as Knight asks if he's worried they'll give up his identity. Sonic thinks it's too little too late for that. Would have been nice to be kept under the radar, but right now my friends are counting on me. No matter what the world thinks, I'll do what I gotta do. And, man, that sure seems like a pretty, suffice way to explain Sonic's philosophy, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I can't lie.
Plus, you seem like good people to me. And your cocoa rocks. What's in this? Cinnamon and a little bit of chili.
Okay, hold on. First of all, I'm gonna half answer your question. You said, "What are you two? Gay?" Aren't they gay?
Yeah, they are gay. They are canon gay. We love that.
Sorry, Yeah. They're goated. We like these two a lot. I actually like these characters a lot. I think they're fun.
Yeah, and also they may or may not be Vector's dads. Jury's still out.
Vector's two gay dads is an insane sentence I never thought I'd hear in my entire life, but here we are.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't you worry. Everything's going to make sense. What are you two up to? Knight asks if Sonic is familiar with the Chaotix Detective Agency. So the storm clears as Knight explains that the Chaotix were investigating Clean Sweep for a while now, and since I work with the restoration sometimes, the sweepstakes was perfect to do a little snooping. Late last night before the sweepstakes began, we were looking around the shuttle, but they have not heard from the Chaotix since then, and we were getting desperate for leads, which is why he picked Sonic up. Well, Sonic says that Amy and Tails are still on the shuttle. They might know something about the Chaotix. And around the corner, Dawn comes back with Sonic's transformer all fixed up. Nothing a little duct tape and elbow grease couldn't fix. So Sonic attaches it back, henshin form, and the Phantom Rider is fully functional. Sonic owes him one, as they just say, get back out there and get to the bottom of this. And on the shuttle's deck, Surge is all out of juice on her knees, breaking down that whether it be Starline or Clutch, we're always being controlled. Kit, however, brings her in close, saying it'll be okay. I have an idea. As inside, Belle is leading Amy and Tails to Jewel's office, them finding it being guarded by the mascots of the show. So as to not blow cover, they send Belle in to tell Jewel what's happening. Sheepishly, Belle approaches saying she's here to see Jewel, as Egg Mascot covers the door, saying that Jewel's too busy to see anyone today. As Belle thinks originally this guy had on a red bow tie before, she realizes that the bow tie was used to tie her up in the locker. Okay, so I'm just gonna go now as she's face grabbed, leading Tails and Amy to rush in, Crabmeat coming in to come between, as Belle does her tail pull trick, kicking the Egg Scott in the face. And all the while, Jewel is in her office with big headphones on listening to relaxation ASMR, so she can't hear the fight going on outside her door. Belle is thrown off, Tails has to get behind the Crabmeat and unzips the costume, leaving a skunk's tail to unravel out. So they've been found out the whole time. The mascots have been puppeted by Rough and Tumble. We can never get rid of these fucking guys, can we?
I mean, but do we mind Rough and Tumble?
I don't.
Think that's the real
fun.
I think they're fine. I think as generic mooks, they're okay. I don't think they're incredible, but they're fun, and I'm okay with their existence.
Yeah, they don't need to be fucking deep, compelling characters. They're just fucking there, and it's fine for them to be there.
They're just kind of big goobers, and everyone is okay with that. They're fine.
So now they can really let loose. By radio insecurity that infiltrators are outside the director's office, we're outnumbered, said everyone you got. So they realize the situation, the three of them can only make a break for it as they're chased behind by Rough and Tumble. You know what, I will say, every single issue of this story, the end always escalates a little bit more. They really know how to keep it going.
Yes. Okay, so there is... I guess if I want to talk about IDW, I can talk about one thing. There are a lot of times where it feels like the stakes kind of stagnate for a while, and then we get a sharp spike, and then we have climax falling, right?
Basically, yeah.
The rising action, right? It never feels like it's gradual. It's always and then right. So it just skyrockets at one point. This arc, and why I think it's been so successful, is that the rising action is consistently escalating. And it feels like they kind of identified this issue and have started to really take it into consideration. I think this is a big reason why the Phantom Rider arc has been working for me. It's consistent. It feels like there's always something happening. Every issue, we're gaining a new piece of the puzzle, and it feels like the story is being developed as we go through it. And it doesn't even feel that long, right? Yeah, it feels really well-paced.
It feels well-paced, and I'll be honest, I really think that the IDW team has been really spooked since Metal Virus to do these much longer arcs. So they stick to being like, 5 to 7 issue arcs at most, which is understandable and fair, especially considering how the Metal Virus arc was received. But I'll be completely honest with you, I really do think that maybe there needs to be a bit more, time to be developed, but I think we could use a much longer arc, in the near future. I think we're ready for that again.
I do think that is what is on the horizon based on what I've been seeing, especially as we slowly ramp up towards issue 100, which, the comics at this point, if I remember correctly, they're on 83?
They're on 80. I think they're on 80 now. I think next month, I'm trying to remember the release schedule in my head. End of this month is the Chaotix 30th, and then beginning and end of November are issue 81 and 82.
Yes, 81. I think it was last month. So we are at 81 right now. But yes, we are gradually ramping up towards issue 100. And it really feels like the comic is trying to grapple with that. And yes, I do think a big reason why they've been struggling with this concept has been Metal Virus. I think Metal Virus suffers from a really big problem. And while I really like that arc, and I like what it's trying to do, which is show the consequences of how Sonic's kindness and his credo can backfire horrendously, it suffers from a problem where it spends way too long on it, and it doesn't really know how to get through with it. And you want to know why? Because the original way that story was meant to be written for Archie. You could tell, because if Metal Virus was an Archie, the character development would have been fucking unreal. Like, it would have been insane. You could have had an insane arc built off it. And this is not necessarily Archie better thing, right? That's
a big part of it is that, like, if it was Archie, we would be telling the story through a lot more characters. And since we're but since IDW had the game cast to work with, plus a handful of original characters, we spent a lot of time focused on Sonic and his internal monologue, along with the rest of the immediate cast kind of just reacting to him and how he's handling the situation.
Right, which, like, to me at least, it feels like there's sort of a dissonance there, where it's like, we want to see more of what the other characters are doing and thinking, but Sega is really afraid to let that happen for some reason. In this arc, I think the staunch difference is that we don't feel that way. I feel like we're getting the other characters' perspectives. We're getting what's going on with them. We're getting their thoughts, their feelings, how they're thinking about things right now. Oh, the Phantom Rider situation. What do Surgeon Kit think? What do the Babylon Rogues think? What do Tails and Amy and everyone else think, right? What does Clutch think? There's a consistent theme of trying to make sure everybody feels like they're getting some level of character interaction or development. That is what is separating Metal Virus apart. I feel like if Sonic's writing was a lot stronger in Metal Virus, I could have accepted that he is the main driving force of the whole arc and that everything around it was more interesting as a result. But I don't think I love that arc. I think it's really good, but I do not think the writing of that arc is strong enough to carry Sonic as a character. And a part of that is because of Sega. Cowards run, I win. Sorry, I just had to remind everyone of that Shadow moment and me crashing out violently, you know?
I mean, as far as Shadow goes, we're in better times for that.
Oh, we absolutely are. It's night and day, man. It's night and day. But yes, again, big discussion was just had there, but it's more just about the state of the comic and like where the writing is right now. And I think it's valid, especially as we're dealing with an arc we're both really, really enjoying.
Yeah, of course. And look, completely valid to compare those two arcs because I think Metal Virus and Phantom Rider are both the comic's two biggest arcs in terms of like scale and development and storytelling, of course. So it's fair to talk about it like that. So without further ado, let's keep it going. We're about halfway through now. We're on issue 73, Stanley and Kim, our team. So we open with Jewel storming onto the bridge, telling Clutch they need to talk about the Phantom Rider, which he insists he's working on. But in Jewel's words, is that the reason why he flooded the ship with his own security? All for one troublemaker? I'm busy, not blind. Well, I didn't want to bother you. And the weapons are a precautionary measure. I wouldn't dream of using them. Not good enough. I'm revoking your admin privileges. Effective immediately. So she politely gestures him to leave, Clutch asking if that's really necessary, saying it is. Guards, please escort Clutch to his quarters. But no one moves, or even acknowledges her, as the security work directly for Clutch, them towering over the restoration staff, which he says is for the good of the sweepstakes. So Clutch shows his strong intimidation towards Jewel, insisting he has the situation under control, and she agrees. You do your job, and I'll do mine. Wow, okay, very, very strong start here.
Yeah, it's very interesting to watch this all go down.
Later, she meets in secret with Tangled and Whisper, telling them how Clutch took over the restoration, and right now, you're the only ones I can fully trust. But even if we deal with Clutch, we still have the Phantom Rider over us. But Tangled interrupts her, saying, oh no, Sonic is the Phantom Rider. And she's like, oh yeah, that makes sense actually. One thing that is also interesting about this arc is that as people learn that Sonic is the Phantom Rider, there is really no like conversation about like, wow, is Sonic betraying us? Has he gone rogue? What's going on here? They're like, no, this is Sonic. Like, he's probably in the right somehow. We just gotta let this play out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also a really cool element that everyone is just so aware of who Sonic is that they're like, there's no way this man would ever go rogue.
Which is also kind of, I mean, look, personally, I would have liked it if there was some people questioning, like, has Sonic gone rogue? Meanwhile, contrast to Jet being the only one going like, no, I know him better than anybody. This guy would never go rogue.
I think, like, if Lanolin knew, it would kind of fuck the whole plot up, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I guess it's the problem of, like, the characters in question are, like, Tangle, Whisper, Lanolin, Mimic, who, you know, Mimic knows, but, like, is not saying anything. And then you have the Babylon Rogues, and then you have Surgeon Kit, right? Surgeon Kit, no, this character's shtick. Sonic beat them over the head with it, right? And then there's Jet the fucking Hawk, who is just, he's like, no, he's too epic, bro.
I think about that one story in like one of the annuals where like in Jet's room in the blimp, he actually does have a photo of him with Sonic, but he like tore off the Sonic half of that photo.
He's such a fucking loser, man. My God.
No, it's great. I love him. I love that loser.
He's so funny, dude.
As Jewel thinks, yeah, makes sense he went missing after the qualifiers. He must also have figured out the race was a scam before they did. We gotta get in touch with him. We might stand a chance. Thus, we move overhead. Knight announcing the final race of the sweepstakes. And before they start, Knight reads a message from Clutch, hovering over his shoulder, saying that they are aware of the repeated appearances of the Phantom Rider and are taking it very seriously. And we pledge to bring this miscreant to justice. And thus let the games begin. To which we see a crowd shot of everyone in the bleachers excited. Also, there's this one viewer with like a hand fan with a heart in the shape of a Phantom Rider. It's adorable. I like that. Nice little touch.
Yeah, that's cute.
Tangle and Whisper talk about how they're going to handle both the Diamond Cutters and Sonic, with Jet and the Rogues talking about how they'll confront Sonic when he arrives. Surgeon Kit just stare aimlessly onto the racetrack, and Sonic, in disguise, looks onto the track, hoping that whatever Tails and Amy are doing, you guys better get it done. It's time to put on a show. The race starts with the racers on a free fall to the streets of Central City, as the Phantom Rider flies upwards, disrupting the flow, leading Jet, Surge, and Kit to break formation and follow him. So Sonic baits Surge, saying he's seen 9 volts with more juice than her, but she says nothing. kicking herself off her bike and straightforward electric punching Sonic off the gear. He recalls getting right on and becomes surrounded by the diamond cutters. Lanolin warning him that he won't like the kick of her Wispon at close range, tells him to surrender, and he says, "I'm sorry, but I can't do that." More and more racers begin to surround Sonic as Lanolin fires her Wispon and interrupted by Surge knocking herself onto Sonic's gear. Lanolin prepares to fire another shot, Tangle stopping her, saying that she's gonna hit Sonic. Hit who? And with the opening, Jet leads the rogues closer in, but are cut off by Kit's water tentacles, grabbing the diamond cutters in particular. So Tangle figures she can get grabby too, stretching her tail to pull Surge off Sonic, and she responds by electrocuting her. That can't feel good.
Oh, dude, wait, this moment's really hype, right? As Surge basically says, "Shouldn't have gotten in my way," Sonic calls her out, saying, "Hey, your fight's with me, isn't it?" "You're darn right it is." And then, because of fucking course, we have to do it. Sonic hits the rider kick while screaming "Terria." Which, you know what? In this context, I accept this. This is a good bit.
The rider kick has aura to it, so I'll allow it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, right? Surge rushes at Sonic, but gets blasted. Slammed, even. Sonic falls back on his Eggstream gear as Surge falls, laughing, showing the device that lets him create his armor. Gotcha! As Sonic's armor fades away.
Oh, worm. So, Kit catches Surge, and now Knight has to play along with the big reveal that the Phantom Rider is Sonic the Hedgehog on the big screen, and asks Surge now, he does, what her game is. And Surge says, "There's no game. I'm just following orders. You happy now, boss? The Phantom Rider has been destroyed just like you asked," leaving Clutch to just mauled out a little bit.
Damn, okay. I didn't know you knew ball like that, Surge. All right.
Inside the shuttle, Tails, Amy, and Belle make a break for it as Rough and Tumble chase them down, Amy thinking they can hide in this corridor. But it's a dead end, but Rough and Tumble end up passing them by as they're told by someone that they were run past by a group of people, so they just keep going. The three take a breath as their distractor, Dawn, comes around saying, "Man, you kids are bad at hiding." And Amy stands the fuck up saying, "You're going to be bad at being conscious real quick if you clean up." And he's like, whoa, stop. I'm on your side. You're Sonic friends, right? "Oh, you've seen Sonic." And they barrage Dawn with questions, asking who he is Sonic safe, what's the state of the sweepstakes right now. Hey, one at a time. "I'm Dawn, friend of the Chaotix. I'm looking for them on this blasted labyrinth of an airship." Amy wouldn't know where to lock someone up here, but Belle has an idea and takes them all down to the engine level of the shuttle. And they come towards the door to the main engine, locked behind a giant vault door. Tails can hack into the computer to get it open, but it's going to take some time. But Belle just is like, "Hold on. Access code. I work here, idiot." Door swings open, and the first thing that they see are the Chaotix locked inside a cage, and they're all just napping.
They're sleepy, you know. They're big vibing right now.
Don rushes to them, screaming their names, and he's happy to see his boys stuck napping inside of a cage. "Get it together, man!" as he bonks Vector on his head. But Charmy says they were doing good. "We almost got out too." So Astro asks Don what he's doing here, and he says he's looking for them. Amy adding she's here investigating Clean Sweep Inc., and Sonic is out there keeping security busy. They're not doing too well, though. The Chaotix were the first they thought of for a lead, and now they're stuck as the rest of them. But on the contrary, they got all the data on a USB drive. It's got all of Clean Sweep's dirty dealings, and man, they're dirty. Once this gets out, they're history. Tails and Belle open the locks up, freeing the Chaotix, and as they get ready to leave, Clutch makes himself known. "Well, I had no idea we had so many guests on board. I apologize for not greeting you sooner. But I'm afraid I can't let you or those records leave." What a mess. So many crises inside and out, and so close to the end, too. That's what I get for outsourcing, I guess. And surrounded by his muscle, Clutch said it's been a long time since he got his own hands dirty. But you know what they say? If you want a job done right, you gotta do it yourself.
That's mob boss core, man. That is absolute mob boss core. Down to the very, very, very soul of it. All right. let's get into our penultimate issue. And oh man, what a penultimate issue it is. We have some real crazy shit about to go down.
Issue 74, Stanley and Hammerstrom. No time wasted, Clutch six the boys, including Rough and Tumble, onto the group. The Chaotix fight Rough and Tumble. Vector recognizes them, but swears they'll get humbled this time. And Amy sees that Dawn is fighting with a hammer as well, a tool hammer, not Amy's warhammer, saying that they match, but he says, don't see me wearing the go-go boots anytime soon. Don't got the cows for him. That's how you know this is a gay man, by the way.
Yeah. True. It's a truth supernova. That line, it's the tell, bro. It's the tell. You know, I know, everybody knows.
So in the distraction, Tails and Belle fly to get to the door terminal to unlock it, as Tails grazes a bullet shot from Clutch's chain gun. Crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. They got this motherfucker trying to kill people.
Forcing them to go on the defensive, the sound of gunfire distracting Tumble, Espio being able to take him down as a result. So Vector tells Clutch and his boys to surrender. If you're not gonna, we're happy to keep wiping the floor with you. And Charmy flies near Clutch, taunting him, saying, yeah, we rule, you drool, old-timer, as Clutch responds by firing on him point blank, and Charmy just barely dodging it. God damn it, man.
Damn, bro, that's fucked up. He really does not care, bro. He's like, I'll kill children.
And caught by Ruff on top of that, Clutch saying children should be seen and not heard. And you're already pushing it with the first part. So with a hostage, Clutch directs them to give up the drive and go back to their cell. It'll be a tight squeeze, but we can make it work for you all. And Vector says, all right, the drive's here. Just don't hurt Charmy, okay? As Espio goes in for a sneak attack, throwing a shuriken to Ruff's hands and frees Charmy. Vector throws him the drive, telling him to take it to Knight. He'll know what to do. And he flies right out as Tails and Belle open the door for him. Clutch having to chase after him, Ruff and Tumble trying to keep up behind him, but he fires inside, destroying the terminal, saying he has no time for dead weight. So the computer is fried, and the door is locked in front of them. Oh boy. Now that's an escalation that I like to see, folks.
Oh yeah. And you think that's where the escalation starts or stops? You ain't seen nothing yet. Let's keep going.
In the bridge, one of Knight's control people comments about the people panicking, but Knight just says keep your cool. Then they hear the sounds of bumping and crashing as Charmy is being chased by Clutch, gives a clean dive in between two grunts as Clutch moves forward in. One of the restoration people nonchalantly puts his foot out and trips Clutch. Base.
Great.
As Charmy lands on Knight, giving him the USB. As Clutch shouts, stop, that's an order. As Knight coldly turns around saying, I don't work for you. Slams in the USB as Clutch is restrained by more restoration guys. And Knight quickly grows through everything as Clutch is able to free himself, but gets hit in the back by a Wispon. Jewel comes in with two others, saying that with the time she's had to think, I've decided it's time to terminate our business partnership. Havoc is breaking out on the bridge. Charmy and Knight go live to the people in the stands as Knight begins to resent the crimes of Clean Sweep Incorporated. Clean Sweep has been exploiting their position. Instead of properly recycling waste, they've resorted to burning and burying it, poisoning the local environments down to the air. They have falsified records, extorted, and even violently silenced whistleblowers, all to protect their reputation. And anything they do salvage is used to make weapons, churning out killing machines to be sold to the highest bidder. And the one in charge, the very CEO of Clean Sweep Incorporated, Clutch the Possum, as he shoves Knight off his chair, ranting he won't let a little smear campaign stop him. Anybody who can make as much money as I can wish they had the guts to do what I do. Who cares about a few sick kids or dead trees? And little does he know, he was on a hot mic. As the viewers start booing him, causing Clutch to have a full-on crash out, breaking the radio receiver with his cane. Listen, folks, we all love a good water noose. I'll let 1,000 children die if
dude, it was the first thing that came into my mind when I was reading this.
Yeah, I was like, I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'll get rid of 1,000 children before I let this company die. I'm pretty sure that's the line. But yes, no, great moment, great expose. Clutch crash out, immaculate. And we go even further. I try to play nice and see what happens. I think I'll take what I can get. As Jewel initiates self-destruct 30 minutes to ignition. because Clutch isn't the only one with admin access, right? As he says, shut it off. I can't. There's no failsafe. No going back now. Fine. As Clutch cranks the ship forward and blows up the controls. Why would you? I thought that was obvious, my dear. I've committed us to a course of my choosing, much as you just did. If I can't win, well, you know how it goes. I just want to point this out. Clutch has now rammed the ship's controls down. That ship is about to hit the whole fucking city.
So we can add terrorism to this guy's charges now too. Awesome.
Yeah, the second, guys, it's the second plane. It's the second plane, guys. There it is. It's about to hit the fucking city, dude.
This is United Flight 93. It's still in the air.
Oh, true. How could I be so reckless? Anyways, this whole sequence is great. And now, again, we have escalated even further. This is the good shit. This is the stuff that gets you wrapped in it. Oh, fuck. Everything was going like crazy. And now we've hit an even crazier point in the story. How the fuck does it end? And boy howdy, I would love to tell you. We're gonna keep going though.
The shuttle is going down, crashing through the monitors. Everyone's freaking out, but Surge figures that Clutch is just taking the ship down with him. Kind of dramatic, but I'm not gonna stop him, you know? Tangle shouts that they all need to do something, as around the corner, Mimic thinks this is his time to get out of here, but his gear is grabbed by Kit's water and pulled back towards them. Getting caught, Mimic thinks quick that says Tangle and Whisper knew who the Phantom Rider was and didn't tell. Lanolin turns her attention to Tangle protecting a criminal, but she says she was protecting Sonic, and he has a good reason, I'm sure. She insists he needs to face justice, but Surge points out that he already left to the falling shuttle, leading her to step on it after him, but Tangle has to talk her down, saying that Sonic is trustworthy, and Sonic looks back saying, look, you can do whatever you want to me later, but right now, there are people up there that need help, so that's where I'm gonna go. And Whisper catches up, telling Lanolin he's right. So she just gives it up for now. We'll finish this later, and they break off. Same with the Rogues. Wave thinks that the show is over and just wants to go home, but Jet, our boy Jet, as always, says no. Sonic owes me a real race, and answered, I demand satisfaction, and leads the two to follow Sonic. Eye on the prize. This man always has his eye on the prize.
Jesus, man. Anyhow, Mimic, Surge, and Kit are left. What'll it be, Tentacles? Try your luck with the Diamond Cutters and Clutch up there? Or with us? As Mimic runs off very quickly. We could have pulled him off his bike and let him drop. Do you think you could have shapeshifted a pair of wings? The others definitely couldn't. Hey, we're following your plan, remember? Eyes on the prize, Drippy. Clutch is next. All right, everyone. We are at the end of our journey at this arc, and fuck me, what an ending it is. Sonic the Hedgehog, IDW issue 75. Stanley and Ho Kim. I hope you guys are ready, because holy fucking shit.
In the locked engine room, everyone's sweltering, and Tails is using his tablet, finds that Jewel activated the self-destruct sequence, which is why the engine is overheating. And Amy has been bashing the door and does manage to break a little piece open, but it just blasts hot air on her. Don comments how this is it. I knew I hated Sonus for a reason, but Vector's not giving it up. He tries pushing the door open with his body, Amy thinking that if her hammer can't do much, I don't know if you can. That's quitter talk. Above Central City, the shuttle begins to catch fire, seeing it's going to crash right over the city. Wave saying if someone don't do something, it's going to get ugly. And Jet, for once in his beautiful little life, has an idea, folks. And it's his own idea for once.
Oh my god, holy shit. The Bird Blast activated.
So, Wave, Storm, follow me. It's going to be better than just chasing after Sonic. With the Diamond Cutters, Duo catches up, Lanolin telling him to stay close. It's no time to wander off. And in his scarf, the radio goes off from Clutch, telling Mimic to get to the main deck now. Tangle and Whisper are stance up, and Lanolin is shocked to hear the reveal. He's ordered back and just gives it up, transforming into his real form, making Tangle and Whisper chase after him, leaving Lanolin feeling like a real right fool, folks.
Yeah, she is just in complete disbelief right now that she got played.
And look, I'll be honest, we're going to have a bit more to talk about with her a little while later down the line, but I will say for now, I think what this goes to show is that she just trusted the wrong person, because she was very easily baited into trusting the one person who was ultimately just being sycophantic toward her, and the others around her who are genuinely trying to, like, make an actual difference and be an actual team here, she was not being responsive to. I wonder why. I wonder what that's about. The fact is that this is what I was thinking about, like, this past week before we really recorded, is that Lanolin, I think the issue with Lanolin is that there's something missing here. We're missing the reason as to why she is the way she is.
Yes, absolutely. There's too much time spent on Lanolin is angsty and hardlined and X and Y and Z nonstop, right? There is no time spent on Lanolin, why are you like this? What caused you to be like this? Why are you acting this way? There is none of that, and that is a huge problem.
Yes. And look, there was an opportunity to fix that, but we'll talk about that later down the line. But in my opinion, and this is just me, I think there really needs to be some backstory to, like, elaborate on Lanolin as we say, we need to figure out why she is the way that she is. We know that she is from one of the towns Sonic saved pretty early on from the metal virus, and she joined the Restoration inspired by Sonic, as I imagine many other people in the Restoration did as well. But if it was me, if I was writing Lanolin, I would have to write something out where she becomes disillusioned at some point by Sonic's methods and Sonic's philosophy, and maybe she would fundamentally agree that maybe it would be best to just lock Eggman away or just kill him outright for the good of the world, and have her with, like, a utilitarian perspective. So she joins the Restoration, becomes part of the Diamond Cutters, and leads the team with this. She is willing to sacrifice for the greater good. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say here. But at the same time, she also sees what Sonic does and thinks that it's not really the way to go, and tries to utilize a bureaucratic method rather than being more vigilantic about it. Like, that's a lot to go in through on someone's backstory, and you would need a lot of time to really flesh that out. But we need something about this character, and that's what we're lacking right now.
Yeah, I think it's really unfortunate because there's so much. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Hands up, everyone. I hope you're ready for it. Meet potential character.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
I mean, unfortunately. All right. Well, let's continue.
On the deck of the shuttle, Clutch leaves everyone tied down as he's about to make his escape on Car, just as Sonic arrives, grabbing him by the collar and throwing him back on deck. You must be the sleazeball who hijacked the Restoration and made this whole mess. I got some thoughts about how you run your business, buddy. And he only responds by firing on Sonic, and he's being fast enough to dodge the bullets. Clutch saying that Sonic has been causing him a lot of trouble, you know that? Yeah, I get that, a lot. You might be fast, but no one has bet against my trigger finger and won, boy. And right then, Surge and Kit fall down, discharging electricity, shouting that they quit. And he refuses to be beat by children and rushes in to fight Surge and Kit. Sonic takes the distraction to free Jewel and Charmy, catching them up on what Clutch did. As Clutch tries to free himself from Kit's water, he tells his hired muscle to fight too, but they're just like, we're kind of on break right now, though. And Surge, though, invites them in, saying, come on, the water's fine. And that spooks them into quitting, running off with their lives.
all right, man.
It's just Surge, Kit, and Clutch now. And in the engine room, SVO acts rough and tumble why they went back on their promise to Vanilla that they turn over a new leaf. But they said, no. When we took on this job, all they told us to was just to wear the costumes. But, as time went on, they kind of were asked to do more and more. As Don just asked, well, if you didn't like it, why didn't you just quit? And that was an option that quite literally never came to them. They usually got fired before they had a chance to quit. So, the two boys shout, we quit! And says, Esfio, if we let you out, we'll help you escape. And Esfio says, well, The door was never locked. The only prison was in your minds. Whoa. Deep, dude. I like to think specifically he speaks with like Muscle Man in a regular show.
Yeah, and then Amy's like, no, like, we broke the lock before. It's open. I knew that. All right. Okay. Anyways.
Rough and Tumble add their muscle to help push the door open, and slowly everyone else joins in and manage to make some progress on the door. As on deck, Sonic tells Jewel and Charmy to free the others and get off the ship. I'll handle Clutch. As Clutch gets on top of a turret, but with no way to control it, Surge thinks. But Clutch comes prepared, pulling out a little fucking VMU and fires on Surge and Kit, having to be saved by Sonic. And they smack themselves off, Surge saying that this is their fight. Aw, but Surge, we want to take this guy down, don't we? It'll be easier together. And she gives an electric jab. He dodges quickly, insisting she doesn't want his help. Alright, fair enough, but I'm not leaving. And this leads them to get a hit of a battery directly and eat shit. As Clutch says that it's been a while since he's left a pack of would-be heroes bleeding out on the floor. Memories. Now let's get off this wreck, intending to use the extreme gear to fly off.
Before, however, something starts as the extreme gear begins to transform into a robot. Prepare yourselves for the one and only me. As Eggman's face appears on the robot that is formed from the extreme gear. I wasn't expecting you to take this long to uncover our shared enemy Sonic, but better late than never. Now, allow me to introduce myself as the robot grabs Clutch and says, I am Dr. Eggman, genius extraordinaire. You have made your fortune profiting off of my brilliance, mocking me all the way. Everything within the Eggman Empire is mine. This fact seems to have escaped you. So to put it simply, don't touch my stuff, as he fires rockets towards Clutch while throwing him up. Yeah, that motherfucker's gonna kill him. So Sonic, in a last-ditch effort, saves him, screaming, "This wasn't the deal, Eggman!" Sure, it was. You just weren't listening. Hand the geezer over, he's mine. As Clutch hits the VMU to fire the cannons. Sonic and Clutch then start fighting. Now listen up, Clutch, you're gonna apologize and fix all this, even if I have to drag you the whole way. Before he kicks him down. You got that? The Egg Robo then places a hand on him, and lightning starts to strike. Hey, you scrubs. Check this out. As she hits the near full page panel, overcharge and thunder strikes all three of them.
Wow. Surge is drained, collapsing on the floor, saying that Sonic got sloppy, let his guard down. The mech ended up only taking minor damage, Eggman asking what? You didn't think I would build a Surge protector? He's funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, funny little guy.
Clutch in hand, he prepares to fly off, and Sonic is starting to get himself together, asking what he intends to do with the guy. Says, nothing for you to be concerned about, Hedgehog. It's just business. And flies off. Sonic watches, saying he kind of feels bad about Clutch, as Surge decides to just give it up. Because of what happened here doesn't make us friends. This wasn't a real fight. You better survive this so I can finish you off fair and square. And on the bridge, everyone makes it up safely, Tails trembling to fix what he can, but the system overheats before he can do anything. Doesn't matter how good of a hack you are if the hardware is melting. But Jewel and Charmy join the group. Charmy rushing to Vector, relieved they all escaped. They feel the ship lurching forward suddenly. Amy telling everyone to look at the bow, seeing the Babylon rogues leading the hovercar caravan to hook and pull the ship upward. Belle wonders if this can actually work, but Tails says right now this is their best option. And look, I gotta say, seeing Jet play the hero is kind of gas, I'm not gonna lie.
It's really, really good. It's really, 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 really good.
Everyone gets jump scared by Sonic just smacking onto the windshield like a bug and says, yo, everyone get up onto the deck. And Amy takes the lead, breaking the window with her hammer and jumps into Sonic's arms. Just be careful, I'm a little singed here. And Sonic tells everyone that Surge, Kit, Clutch, and Eggman bounce. We gotta, wait, what, Eggman? Yeah, look, it's a long story. And that's when Jet and the rogues make themselves known. While you were running in circles, we have been at work. We'll pull this wreck out of its nosedive. Yes, you're welcome. So they take the lead to the caravan and direct everyone to pull, lurching the shuttle forward, but the people below are panicking. Jet telling everyone put their backs into it, as Sonic tells if he has any ideas, now's the time, but there's nothing here. Jewel, unfortunately, has one. We can't stop the shuttle, but we can choose where it'll fall. The Emeraldville Ruins, right on top of Restoration HQ. And Sonic goes to the rogues, telling them to change direction westward, as Jet screeches, we don't take orders from you, but Wave reminds him, we're not here to argue. So he's like, okay, fine, just turn. The ship follows along as Jewel collapses on her knees and starts to cry. And Amy figures, Restoration HQ isn't empty, is it? As Jewel says, well, it's better than the entire city, as she's just overflowing crying. And man, that's gotta be fucking heartbreaking and harrowing.
Ooh, oh my god.
Yeah, you talk about stakes, huh? Now here's some fucking stakes.
Yeah, this is a pretty wild fucking turn of events, I can't lie. I did not expect them to fucking drop the fucking whole fucking ship on their old HQ, but whatever. Anyways,
Sonic comes in asking about the sour mood, and Amy shouts the ship is about to explode on top of a bunch of people. Of course we're upset. Well, ship hasn't crashed yet, right? So that's where Jet comes in asking if Sonic has a real plan now, to which Sonic says, well, Jet, how about a friendly competition? Huh? Whoever gets the most people out of the Restoration building wins. And Jet's like, alright, fuck it, let's ball. Sonic leads the whole of the group out into the sky. Night and Dawn stays behind. They got their own ways out, and the race begins. Elsewhere, a sweepstakes amphitheater. Tangled and Whisper are chasing after Mimic, abandoning his gear after Whisper fires on it and falls below the energy net, into the crowd of people still in the stands. Girl is still aggro. She comes to the crowd with her wisp on live, pointing at it to the crowd, shouting to the people to give Mimic up. But the civilians have no idea what she's talking about it and are begging for their lives. And Tangle has to calm her down. We barely dodged a bomb that fell on us. The course is falling apart and we don't have much options here. Until Lanolin sounds off her wisp on and addresses the crowd. Give her time and we can guide you down to the ground. We're here to help and we'll take the ship to a safe landing. She goes to Tangle and Whisper, saying, look, I made mistakes. I have a lot to answer for. And I don't blame you for not trusting me. I know how I can be. I've changed, and not always for the better, but I will learn. If you don't want to work with me after this, and Tangle says to save it. We're on the same side. These people need our help. And we're going to help them, because that's what we do. And Whisper agrees. Made my own fair share of mistakes. Tangle is still mad, but that's for later. And tells the Diamond Cutters, we got a city to save. As for Mimic, hidden himself in the crowd as a civilian, thinks that was way too close for comfort. So look, at least Lanolin recognizes that she fucked up pretty badly is a good step forward. It is a good step.
yeah, I can't lie. It's good character development. It's nice to see, but
It's a start.
yeah,
It's a start.
It's a start. It's a start. You're right.
Sonic crashes through the skylight of the HQ and ricochets off the ground as everyone else lands. So Jet tells the people that an airship is about to crash land on top of you. If you want to live, you better come with me. Or me, Sonic shouts as he comes in. The boys break to make their rescues as Belle runs to the machine shop to tell everyone to evacuate. It's far from the main hall, so they probably didn't hear. They leave, but not everyone is accounted for. Belle's project trying to repair her Motobug friend. His circuitry is exposed and he can't risk being moved. Could lose his memory or worse. Then that's where Groovy comes in, mentioning he was struggling with him for weeks before she left for the sweepstakes. So he and Tails offer a hand. Even despite the oncoming crash, Groovy is a first in last out type of guy, and Tails is not going anywhere where he can help. So Belle, put us to work. We got a bot to build. And so as they work, Sonic and Jet rush between each other as they count off their rescues. Sonic is at 6, then Jet at 8, 23, 28 to 31, and tie at 46, just before the ship makes contact with the ground and explodes. And the gang is in total shock, as Sonic and Jet come behind them with their final rescues, and Jet moans that babies don't count, the mom carried them. But Sonic's like, okay, well the guy carrying the kids don't count either. Well, that's completely different. Eye on the prize, man. Way to keep your eye on the prize.
Crazy.
Sonic thinks that's everybody, but wants to do just one more sweep just in case. But Amy begs him not to. Just look at it, man. It's all over. Well, it's not over till I say it's over. Right, Jet? And you can see him hesitating. That place is trashed. I'm not risking my nest for nothing. Suit yourself. And Sonic leaves, and Amy at least tells him, be careful. When am I not? And so he runs over, sifts through the smoke, last call for the Hedgehog Express, and he sees Tails down below saying he, Groovy, and Bell don't have long. And Sonic locks in, save your breath, buddy. You're gonna need it. Bell, kick that big beam on my mark. I need some rubble. Tails, follow my lead now. The rubble breaks down and gives Sonic a path forward, but the boys end up separated, leaving Bell to activate their project. Motobud now has a flying component, taking Sonic and Groovy with them. And dawn breaks, Amy shouts for Sonic, Vector trying to coax her down, it's not safe up there. And that's what she told Sonic, thinking that she should have at least gone with him. But the Motobud's light breaks through and lands with everyone. Amy rushing to Sonic, Charmy impressed that Motobug can fly like a real bug now. Belle says she took over borrowed extreme gear parts to make it do that, but Tails did all the work to get it working. Groovy says Tails really lives up to your rep. You sure I can't convince you to come work for me? And then Knight and Dawn's RV lands near them, as Knight boasts how the RV wasn't a bad investment in the end, huh? Dawn is not gonna get to live that down. Jewel, Ruff, and Tumble stumble out, and Jewel collapses to the ground seeing the Restoration HQ in flames. And she only can cry, as Jet and the Rogues come to Sonic. Jet saying he'll concede to a tie for today, if it means we get a rematch next time. One good, clean race so you can see what I can really do. And Jet accepts that as the Rogues fly off. Diamond Cutters get to come down, and Tangle rush into Jewel to come check on her. She says there's nothing left. The Restoration is done for now. But Tangle lifts her up with her tail and shows, look, the Restoration's not a building. They're down there. It's the people helping each other. It's always been the people. Jewel then leads everyone towards the group, including Ruff and Tumble, Dawn saying that this is payment for the ride down. Then, about a day later, Sonic and Tails stumble back to Tails' house in Central City. The boys have earned a nice long break after saving like half the city. Tails agrees he's going to be sleeping for a week. But they realize the front door was left slightly open. Tails freaks out thinking someone broke in. Sonic sees everything still in place. Tails just hopes he left the door open accidentally, but no. The lab's generator core is missing. And that being the Chaos Emerald. So not only is that the end to our arc, but immediately we're setting up the next arc moving forward. Evan Stanley, I kneel. Great job. What a banger.
What a great arc. Consistent stakes, lots of crazy stuff going on, a cool twist here or there, and character development across the board for basically everyone. This is a fantastic arc. It's just really good. I don't have much to say.
This arc got hands. It really do got hands.
It's not like, nah, I'm just gonna can it for one day. It's a good arc. It's really fucking good. And it sets us up with a cool cliffhanger at the end. Whoa! Well, there's actually a ton more left to do. We have, I believe, six issues before we are done with IDW once again. But we are at issue 75. We have 25 more issues until 100. That's crazy, by the way. IDW has been going on for almost 10 years.
I have a lot of thoughts on that. Maybe I'll have my thoughts on that to talk about another time as we catch up properly. But look, IDW has been going on this long, and it finally feels like they finally got their real groove now. Look, if the arc quality is on par with Phantom Riders, this is going to be IDW is going for the stars at this point. It is fan-fucking-tastic. This really cemented itself by now, and Evan Stanley really has come into her own as a writer. I am very, very pleased with the quality of this work. The art was fantastic, obviously, and I can't wait for more. I really can't wait for more. And I think it goes without saying, but Sega, let's talk, you and me, one-on-one right now. You are fucking idiots. In general, but for this reason alone, because there is no Phantom Rider art for Sonic in Cross Worlds. Where the fuck is it?
No Phantom Rider all, no Surgeon Kit, no IDW character. Where the fuck are they, guys? It's not that hard. You have the concept art for the riders' outfits. Please, just put it in the game. Put the fries in the bag. It's not that hard.
I will say, I think the reason why Sega is hesitant to put the IDW characters in the games proper is because they are kind of slow at bringing those comics to Japan. I think they've been translating the comics little by little, and I think just now in Japan, they just got to the end of the Metal Virus saga. Like, they are behind.
Wow, that's crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I think that's part of the reason why they're so hesitant to include the IDW characters, because, like, they haven't even gotten to Surgeon Kit. That's the problem here. So, that's a different conversation altogether, though. The comics go, fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. This is IDW, in my opinion, at its best. And yeah, there are some things that do leave to be desired, but those are things that can be easily fixed. And we're going to get more into that next time on the IDW Sonic Rundown. But before we go, folks, we got to shout someone out. We got a new patron that joined us. In the meantime, shout out Raptorus77 coming in at $5 a month. Welcome, buddy. Hope you're enjoying the content behind the paywall.
You have given us money, and therefore, you are cool. You get 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Alberto, put your thumbs up.
3
thumbs up. 4 thumbs up. And then I can't make a 5th. So you'll have to do with 4. 4's pretty good though, right? Yeah, okay. Welcome. We appreciate it, as always.
Yeah, and not only are you getting all those thumbs up, there's a lot of content you're getting with that $5 a month as well, because for $2 a month, you get all of our videos early, you get all our podcasts early, and you get another side, another story as well. Our bonus show, we've been reacting to the Sonic TV shows, and we've just started Sonic X Season 3, and we've already been blown away by it. We're only a few episodes in, but we're already blown away by it. I am amazed, and I can't wait for more.
Oh yeah, it's looking real good.
$5 a month, you get all that plus our pre/post show where we just talk about whatever goes on. We kind of dissect from the content, and it's another half of the show you're basically getting where we talk about gaming news, what we've been up to, all that fun stuff. And for the big boy rollers, $15 a month, all that and a video version of all of our content. So without further ado, folks, thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around and reading along with us. One of the best of IDW, and folks, dare I say, I think the best is yet to come. There's more on the horizon, especially since next year, the comic is finally going post-Frontiers.
Oh my god, fucking finally! Join us next time as we recap the rest of IDW that we caught up with while we were away, and we'll see y'all then. Bye.